Hello everyone, and welcome to Norway, and Antler's first demo day in Oslo. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Christian.
And I'm Matthias, heading up Antler Norway together with Christian and Anne.
Today, we want to introduce you to 8 stellar companies that we invested in this spring. So we decided to launch Antler in Oslo last January. We are running an industry-specific program focusing on energy, property, and mobility. Within these very exciting industries, there's tons of room for innovation. There's abundant talent in Norway, and we have onboarded some very forward-leaning partners to provide their invaluable insights and support to our founders executing on great ideas.
Before welcoming our 8 companies, let's have a closer look at their journey so far. So, at the back end of last year, we had received more than 850 applications. And from this, we selected the top 59 entrepreneurs that joined us here in Oslo in January. The group had an average work experience of 11 years, and impressively, more than 50% of these had previously founded at least one company. During their first 11 weeks, the individuals ideated around the best ideas, formed highly complementary teams, and pitched at our investment committee. 27 teams formed, and we decided to invest in the top 8. Since then, these companies have been building their MVP, strengthening their teams, and securing their first customers. As you watch them present today, keep in mind that these companies are only a few months old. So when reflecting upon the incredible traction they've been able to gain so far, just imagine what they will be able to do over the next 5 years. These companies are now joining an extensive and growing global network. Through the Antler platform, we will support and scale these companies by tapping into a vast network of investors, advisors, and partners.
So we are so grateful to our industry partners, Fredensborg, Hafslund Eco, Møller Eiendom, Møller Mobility Group, Obos, and Trønder Energi. Without their support, we would never have been able to pull this off. Forward-leaning companies like these are building the innovation ecosystem. We need them, startups need them. So we would love for you to start interacting with our companies. Ask them questions, provide your input, introduce them to relevant clients or potential investors, test out their products and services, and maybe invest in them yourself. Again, we're so delighted that you could join us. Now, let's welcome our 8 incredible companies. Wattworker is turning large buildings into intelligent energy assets with its data-driven energy management systems. The very strong team of Sven, with 10+ years of experience from business development in the renewable sector, to Deepak, a former researcher with experience from electronics and data analysis, to Safwan, with a PhD in electrical engineering. The company has made tremendous progress over the last few months, installing their prototypes, monitoring hundreds of apartments.
At Wattworker, what we do is we try to support the current change in the trend globally, where the world is going from energy markets more towards renewable.
Energy variability caused largely by renewable energy is a problem. It's a problem for customers because it means they're paying higher electricity bills. It's a problem for grid operators because they need to manage instability in the grid in many different layers. Having solutions that are actually able to address this variability is really important to both of these groups. I think WattWorker and the team that we've put together here is really, really well suited to solve this problem because we combine, I think, domain experience and extremely strong technical experience. First of all, Deepak, right? He's massively talented, combining his experience with computer science, backend, electronics, deep learning, and I mean, he's a super cool dude to work with. I don't think you'll find anyone in the world, myself included, who doesn't simply enjoy working with Deepak.
I initially remember from the cohort, I remember Sven as the business guru because we all saw that clarity he had in terms of business and how well he could structure things.
Over the next 10 years, large property owners, be it residential or commercial, are going to become completely self-regulating, self-optimized from electricity consumption, production, storage, and trading. And we want to be one of the major platforms that's going to be in place doing this. Hi everyone, we're WattWorker, a company that's turning large buildings into intelligent energy assets for property owners. Over the decades to come, renewable energy is taking over our production mix, which obviously is a good thing. But as it does that, we need solutions to manage its variability. Property owners have a significant role to play here. Large property owners doubly so. We're seeing an industrial level build out happening on rooftop solar currently. At the same time, the number of digitally connected, energy consuming devices is growing at an exponential rate. Lastly, we're seeing the cost of batteries dropping, while electric vehicles are growing, meaning parking lots around the city and by properties everywhere are increasingly going to look like industrial batteries going forward. And when we integrate these, then property owners have the capabilities to become these significant energy players. We want to be driving this transition with a SaaS platform that provides AI-based electricity management to large buildings everywhere. By connecting with IoT, we're able to integrate and optimize rooftop solar, energy-consuming devices, and storage devices. We're able to aggregate these different buildings into a virtual power plant that provides the flexibility we need in this renewables-based future. Our first product is bringing IoT and AI to new and existing hot water boilers. We're able to save our customers up to 30% off their electricity bills. Each apartment complex is saving over 7,000 tons of CO2. If you assumed we had a 5% global market share, that's equal to over 160 million tons of CO2 each year. At the same time, we have a straightforward business model. Installation of IoT devices, that's a one-off cost. Annual subscription for optimization. Our customers are large apartment and hotel property owners, and the distribution is going through third-party service providers. Our value proposition is similarly straightforward. As already mentioned, we're saving up to 30% off the electricity bill, but what that means for them is that their payback period is actually under 1 year. Our customers, together with us, are fighting climate change. We're providing a hassle-free, hands-off experience, and they can rest comfortably knowing that they're investing in a future-oriented platform. And the reason we're able to move as fast as we are here is because we have a really strong team. We're globally represented. Deepak is our brilliant CTO with a PhD in electrical systems and an MSc in computer science. Safwan is our brilliant analytics officer with a PhD in electrical engineering. Both experienced with deep learning, both having all of the core competences necessary to move a relatively complex product and service forward and bring it to market successfully. Myself, I have 10 years of experience coming from the renewable energy industry, where I was the former director of business development and the project management office at Vestas Wind Systems. Our roadmap shows the traction we've got to date. Partnership with Hafslund Echo, Antler Investment, Innovation Norway grant. We're on prototype number 4, which is stable. We're going through pilot series this fall. At the same time, the EMS platform is at the MVP stage and will be scaled up during the midpoint of next year. So to summarize, why WattWorker? As I mentioned, we have a very strong team. This is a 26 billion euro market opportunity. We have significant product traction already, with hundreds of apartments currently being monitored. At the same time, this is a new space with a low customer acquisition cost and a scalable product and business model. So if you're interested in working with us, whether that means directly as part of our team, if it means that you've got potential pilot sites or customers or distribution channels, or if you think you could be an interested investor for participating in the seed round with us, we'd love if you reach out. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on a very good presentation. You guys are definitely moving very fast. I wanted to ask you on competition. I mean, There must be tons of competition in this space. What is it that makes Wattworker unique?
Thank you. It's a question we're getting oftentimes when we meet with investors. Of course, it's also core to Antler, also assessing us, right? It's not a surprise that there is a lot of competition here. It's a massive industry, 100 billion euros spent on electricity globally each year, right? And with that, there's going to be a lot of activity. I think what we'd like to stress is when you look at the commercial space, you do see a lot of big companies present, primarily focused on energy efficiencies and energy building control measures. You don't see the same integration with energy production, energy storage, and energy trading. Everyone is seeming to operate more in their silos. When you look at the B2C space, a lot more interesting disruption is happening. Google Nest, the smart home movement, right? But I think one particularly interesting development is the emergence of the smart electricity, where companies, a Scandinavian example would be Tiber, are integrating energy consumption, energy production, storage, and trading all the way across the value chain. And that's what's giving, I think, customers a really good experience. We would like to do that, but in the B2B space. And what is also, I think, making us unique is that we're also capable of doing the hardware ourselves to turn any energy consuming device smart.
Just adding to that, what we see that the reason why we chose water boiler to be our first product to market is while we were talking to several large companies, what we saw in the space was they wanted somebody to solve this problem for them in terms of finding a product which would optimize the water boilers, because traditionally they are not so digitalized yet and they are high energy consuming devices. So when we looked around, we saw few few companies working locally, but none of them are working. There were mostly none in Scandinavia or in European context with what we see. So this got us excited to start looking into this space, and luckily we had the team to execute in terms of building our own microcontroller, and also coming from a background which can understand the AI optimization. So we use deep learning to optimize it to save energy from 15 to 30% of its normal energy consumption profile. This makes us really unique in terms of being able to execute faster and having a hardware designed for ourselves, and this particular product being able to integrate to our bigger vision of energy management system. So, and we are happy that we are growing fast and for all the traction we are getting.
Very exciting. Well done. Thank you so much to Wattworker.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, let's welcome our next company, Place. They are providing a data-driven platform to optimize the matching between property owners and retail tenant concepts. Thus, they're contributing to more vibrant and sustainable urban areas. The team is led by Snorre, a strong business leader with deep domain expertise, Peder, a product and tech expert with vast experience in digital services, and Tobias, a marketing and growth expert with solid startup experience.
Empty retail space is a big problem because they are such an important part of the urban fabric. So when the shops die, when the restaurants die, you get empty streets and you take away the pulse of the city. We need to find out how we can come up with the best offering in a city, putting together the best tenant mix in an urban environment.
Place's long-term vision is to help property owners, the tenants, making the optimal mix of concepts throughout the cities. And I think in the long-term goal, we can also help governments making the best possible cities proposal for new areas that are being developed.
Once we started working together, everything just clicked, and since then we've just been running towards our vision and developing our product.
I think we make a great team because together we have a lot of fun, and these guys are so passionate and it's just great working with. They can be laser focused at the same time as they can have the breadth and understanding of everything that we're doing.
We will not stop until every single city street all across the world is lively and pulsating, and every retailer and every property manager is on our platform. Hi everyone, my name is Snorre. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Place. We deliver a digital tool enabling vibrant, sustainable cities. All around us, our high streets and shopping malls are being disrupted. Restaurants and traditional retail are transformed by e-commerce and new purchasing patterns. As a consequence, in Norway now about 60% or more of new physical retailers are bankrupt after 4 years. So if you own a retail property, you're then faced with the same question every time you have an empty space. What tenant is most likely to succeed? Getting this question wrong is costly. Often this can accumulate up to several hundreds of thousands of euros coming from rebuilding expenses, brokerage commissions, and lost lease. So how do you go about getting this right? Well, introducing the Place platform, a data-driven solution making the optimal match between retail properties and tenants. We support our property partners in increasing the value of their portfolios in 3 simple steps. First, we define a winning tenant strategy using big data to determine the optimal tenant mix of an area. Secondly, we match with specific tenants that, based on the data, are most likely to succeed in the property. And lastly, we facilitate collaboration until the lease is signed, building the foundation for a lasting, valuable tenant relationship. A nice example of a good decision is Brygg in Oslo. The building used to house a branch of D&T, but when it was exchanged for a large brew house, Brygg, instead, rent more than tripled and the property value increased by more than 10 million euros. And this is due to the fact that most of these contracts are revenue-based. This then has ripple effects throughout the neighborhood, increasing the overall area attractiveness. And this is where the Place platform comes in, because we will make it easy to systematically select the best tenants, increasing both rent and property value. We'll take a piece of this value creation with a B2B SaaS business model. Property companies pay according to size and the scope of features and data that they subscribe to, and we then conservatively estimate the European market to be roughly 4 billion euros. And our plan is to expand from Norway, and we have an ambitious and aggressive plan to expand internationally at the end of 2021, with both customers and data providers already ready to support us on this journey. To deliver on our plans, we have a solid founder team with great complementary skills. Peter is the tech lead with a proven track record, including CTO startup and corporate product management experience. Tobias is a marketing and growth expert with a strong background from startups and venture capital. As for myself, I bring in some heavy domain expertise from retail and hospitality, as well as data-driven analysis experience. Most importantly though, we have a lot of fun together and we really get a lot of shit done. This is visible when you look at what we've been doing in the last couple of months, because we've attracted some top talent, partnered with some of the most forward-leaning property and retail companies in Norway, and worked on a product that will soon ship. We are now raising a pre-seed round, and we have already attracted a committed strategic investor, as well as receiving a lot of interest from other relevant investors. So please reach out if you want to take part in an awesome adventure, creating immense shareholder value while stimulating vibrant, sustainable cities. Thanks.
So thank you for a super interesting presentation, guys. So I wanted to touch a little bit upon the traction you've been able to get lately. Could you elaborate a bit?
Oh yeah, that's a really cool question to answer, because as you know, we're building a truly customer-centric organization. So we spent most of the time working together with 6 customers or partners who have been really involved in product development through different product development workshop, as well as us doing some advisory work on them in order to understand exactly what kind of value we can create with our platform. So based on that, we've been able to sketch out the entirety, the vision of our platform, our product. and started working on it, and it will start shipping in the end of September. We have about 6 designers and developers working on this, and we're also partnering up now with Sintef to do more of the long-term scientific work that we can apply into this. And this basically couldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the fact that we've been able to recruit some of the absolute best tech talent in Norway to help us work on the platform and do data analysis with our customers. And then this is resonating with both the other customers, potential customers, and investors. So I think we are now really ready to just fire up with some more investments and reach our goals.
That sounds super promising. And over to the business model, how are you planning on monetizing on this opportunity that you have ahead of you?
Well, so property owners and tenants, they can both add properties and their concepts to the platform for free. But property owners, they will pay through a B2B SaaS model for more advanced functionality, such as optimization and the data visualization parts. And the subscription fee will range from between 50 to 250,000 Norwegian kroners, depending on how many properties they hold in their portfolio.
Yeah. And also we can monetize on the professional tenant side as well going on forward. They have the same kind of needs as the professional property owners.
Okay. Super. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
In January this year, we kicked off the first Oslo program with 59 founders chosen from a pool of over 900 applicants. The founders of the 8 companies that we introduced to you today made it through to the second phase and received an Antler investment. Impressed by what they built? This could be you. From experienced entrepreneurs, technologists, and business professionals, Antler brings together exceptional people hungry to build their next companies. Hi, I'm Lavanya, the Director of Recruiting at Antler in Norway. If you're wondering whether you're the right fit for Antler, I'm here to share with you exactly what we look for in a successful applicant. For context, we know that strong complementary teams are comprised of 3 specific profiles: commercial leads, domain experts, and technologists. So how do you know if this applies to you? Let's map it out. Commercial leaders, these are the go-to-market specialists. Think experienced entrepreneurs, growth experts who scaled across global markets, or management consultants who get excited about mapping out strategies and business models. These people often take on the business side of running a new startup. Domain experts, these are the people who have deep insights in their field. And owing to a vertical focus program here in Norway, we specifically look for specialists within energy, property, and mobility. Oftentimes, these are the visionaries on the co-founding team. These individuals can identify the unmet customer need in their field or have developed technologies that could be utilized to unlock latent value. Finally, in this digital age, you can't possibly build a startup without a technologist. These are the true builders, usually software developers, data scientists, but also hardware engineers in areas such as IoT, and even designers who can code. What all these people have in common is their love to build from scratch. From thinkers and hackers to seasoned CTOs, these are the builders we're after. Worth a mention, some of the strongest founders that we've worked with didn't immediately identify as a founder, but had a hunch that this was their ticket to making a change. Antler is a place where experienced entrepreneurs, business professionals, and technologists come together to co-found a company. Overall, what makes a successful applicant is someone who is dedicated, ready to commit, and hungry to build their company. If this sounds like you, we'd love for you to apply to Antler.
Glint Solar is accelerating the floating solar energy revolution by identifying and analyzing project sites with satellite data and machine learning. The company is led by Harald, an experienced founder, investor, and solar expert. Even, a business-savvy founder voted Global Energy Leader of Tomorrow by the New York Times, and John, an experienced data scientist that helped propel his previous company from a startup to an industry leader.
So in Glint Solar, we say that we are accelerating the floating solar revolution. So we see that it's difficult obtaining good data early in the development process for building out floating solar. And those who deliver the data, that's typically done in a slow and often also very expensive way. So we're tackling that challenge by giving our customers, the developers of floating solar installations, much better data early on in the process so they can make data-driven decisions on their projects.
We're starting by helping large companies and utilities to build out floating solar, but in the long run, what we want to do is really reduce the soft cost with the connection with floating solar and really help this become ubiquitous.
At face value, we might seem quite similar, but I think once you get to know us, we're actually very different. So we have very different backgrounds and very different complementary skills. And oftentimes we can disagree quite fiercely, but one of the values that we have and which we established quite early on is that, yes, we can disagree fiercely, but once we commit, that's something that we all get behind.
The world needs more clean energy, and Glint Solar helps the world to get more clean energy faster.
Hi everybody, we are Glint Solar. In the next 10 years, $1.2 trillion will be invested in solar energy. And by 2040, solar energy will be the largest source of power in the world. The technology on how to build solar energy is getting standardized. However, there's a gold rush among developers to find the best sites for solar energy, both on land and for floating solar energy. Glint Solar, we scan and analyze the world with satellite data and machine learning to find the best sites for solar projects. We are starting with floating solar, since that's the fastest growing segment in the solar sector at the moment, and where we find the customers with high willingness to pay. In the world, there are more than 117 million lakes. The process to find the best sites for solar today is very manual, and you have to evaluate a high number of factors. For instance, if there's a windy place, and the anchoring system may increase the total cost for the project by 10%. And that's just one of the factors they have to evaluate. Today, a developer of solar plants typically evaluates only 10 sites to find one location with acceptable profit margin. The job is time-consuming, and they have to rely on on-site data. With our solution, we evaluate 100 and maybe 1,000 of potential sites with a high number of parameters automatically. And by doing this, they find sites with higher profitability, with reduced risks, and we also help the customer to grow faster with more potential sites available.
We have a bold vision, and our vision is to build the world's largest database of solar site information. And to do so, we're relying on satellite imagery and proprietary machine learning algorithms. But we don't stop there. We're also integrating data from customers and providers in the industry. And we're aggregating this into a multi-client library. And here we're borrowing elements from seismic companies' business model. And this, in turn, we will license out through our SaaS model to solar developers. And over the summer, we have been busy building amazing tech. Through our solution, you can now go anywhere in the world, find your site, and easily draw up a polygon which gives you data from that particular site. And what used to take almost 100 hours of heavy computational data crunching now takes a mere seconds, and this is just the beginning. In a short amount of time, we've also gotten great global traction, working with customers around the world and solving their problems. And this has led to a strong sales pipeline. We were also one of 2 Norwegian companies that got accepted into the European Space Agency's incubator program. We've secured Innovation Norway funding, and we're working with 2 world-leading research institutions. And the team to execute, we bring the best from energy, business, and data science. Harald, our very experienced CEO, was a former cleantech investor who also had a successful exit. John, our CTO, he was an integral part of taking a small startup and becoming a global industry leader as their lead data scientist. And my background is from the energy world, having worked in the US, Africa, and Europe. We've also been able to attract the best of both local and global talent. So to quickly recap, we are the first mover in a very exciting and fast-growing renewable energy market. Our technology is proprietary and easily scalable, and we have a strong sales pipeline as mentioned. So if this also really excites you, come talk to us because we are raising a pre-seed round and are looking for renewable energy champions to join us.
Glint Solar, thank you so much. Wow, that was a very exciting presentation. I do want to follow up with a few questions. The first one, I have to ask you, why are you targeting the floating solar market from Norway? I mean, it's a country not that well known for too many sunny days.
Yeah, I see what you mean. First of all, we don't think it's going to be a huge potential for floating solar in Norway, but we see that there are a lot of players moving into this field now, also from Norway, such as Equinor and Statkraft, and smaller businesses as well that are developing technologies, all making use of Norwegian expertise in aquaculture. And we think that this ecosystem is going to be a huge benefit when we go out and target the global market.
Cool. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. It would be interesting to hear you elaborate a bit more on your customers and what value you offer them.
Yes, our customers are mainly lake owners and project developers of solar parks, like utility companies, and a lot of oil companies now are moving into this space as well. And it's a gold rush now to find these best sites for floating solar first, and we help them to find these sites first, and we also help them to reduce the risk when they are developing the projects.
Thanks. That's interesting. How about competition? Who are your competitors?
Yeah. So as mentioned, floating solar is a nascent market, but it's growing tremendously fast. So we're of course very bullish on this. So right now we see that there are different tools to model yield and it's various data on land. And of course you have consultants performing a lot of these services, but they have to physically go to the sites and they're typically slow and expensive. So what we have identified is essentially the gap between these two, which we think is very exciting, and that's where we come in.
Cool. Glint Solar, well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a true pleasure to introduce you to our sustainable food tech company, Savvy. Savvy is a data-driven digital assistant helping food businesses improving their bottom line while reducing waste. The company is founded by Jess, a visionary design thinking innovator with over 6 years of experience across consultancy, strategy, digital transformation and sustainability. M. Putri, our environmental engineer with expertise and operational efficiency from big multinationals. These two hustlers united over their common mission to start a company which is mutually beneficial for the economy and the planet.
We started thinking about food waste, and then we realized that food waste is a huge problem for restaurants and other food businesses. And it's not only a huge problem in terms of the environmental aspect, but it's also a big problem in terms of the financial aspect. And then we started to realize, wait, there's a lot of things that we can do to actually help these food businesses better optimize their companies. My favorite thing about Putri is that she's very open to new ideas and new suggestions. She approaches everything from a very logical standpoint, being the engineer that she is. So she's very willing to look at kind of both sides of a decision and kind of try to make the best choice going forward.
I think Jess has really strong qualities as a CEO in terms of she executes, but also plan strategically of like how Savvy can grow as a company going forward. I think both of us are really passionate about sustainability, and we just bonded over the whole problem of reducing food waste in the in the global problem. So
also we both really love food, so
yeah, that's another thing.
Hi, we're Savvy, a smart digital assistant for food businesses. 60% of food businesses fail within their first year, and less than 20% make it to year 5. Inefficient operations is a major cause of failure. To demonstrate the magnitude of these inefficiencies, BCG projects that in 2030, the food industry will lose $1.5 trillion in revenue due to wasted food alone. Yet globally, food services is valued at $3.7 trillion, and they are struggling with optimization. Some plan to have 20% waste, while others routinely sell out early. We empower these businesses to make the right decisions. We provide a mobile-first, data-driven digital assistant, which helps them improve their bottom line by boosting profitability, optimizing operations, and reducing waste. This will result in fewer lost sales, minimal overproduction, fresher products, and a better selection for customers. The idea of leveraging data to improve operations is not novel. Large corporations have spent millions custom building similar systems. Yet, there are no existing solutions for small and medium businesses, and the industry's fragmentation provides us with a unique opportunity to become a prominent platform player. By providing an off-the-shelf SaaS solution which incorporates industry best practices, we enable SMEs to rise to the same level of operational efficiency and profitability as these larger players. With Savvy, managers can get an overview of their business and receive actionable insights all in one app. All this fits into your pocket and is accessible with the touch of a button. We're starting with our forecasting module, which addresses the biggest headache for food businesses today, and we intend to roll out additional functionality to become their one-stop shop for store management. Though Savvy is applicable for all food businesses, we will start by targeting bakeries as they have the greatest improvement potential. Bakeries represent a low-tech segment with high employee turnover. That, coupled with the high level of mobile workflow integration in the Nordics, makes Norwegian bakeries the perfect market for testing before we scale internationally. We could reduce the time spent forecasting by 6-fold, the amount of food wasted and the carbon footprint by 9-fold, and we will also increase profits by helping users avoid selling out early, adding an average of $500 in revenue for each hour businesses would have sold out. In the past 3 months, we've launched our MVP, which is currently being piloted by 17 bakeries. We've received funding from the Antler VC and the Norwegian government, and we are already generating monthly recurring revenues. One of our pilots has experienced a 26% increase in profit and a 49% reduction in waste since using Savvy. Our goal is to reach 400 customers in our first year, when user lifetime value will be 9 times customer acquisition costs. And we're the right team. We have more than 12 years of combined experience within digital transformation and operational efficiency from large multinationals. With our extensive international network, we're ready to bring Savvy to market. So to conclude, we are building more sustainable food businesses by tackling a $3.7 trillion global market opportunity. We're capital light, revenue positive, we have a highly scalable product, and we have already received term sheets from one of the first investors in Spotify. So come join us.
Hi team! Thank you so much for a very exciting pitch. I have a couple questions that I would love for you to answer. And first off is, you're targeting a pretty fragmented market here with a lot of smaller players. How are you planning to scale?
So you can get started using Savvy in 2 ways. The first way is that you can upload your data into our databases. And the second way is that you can leverage already existing integrations that we will build with the different points of sale systems so that your data flows freely from your point of sale system into our database. And this is the main way that we're going to scale. We will seek out partnerships with different points of sales players worldwide. And we will leverage their already existing customer networks in order to scale our product. And that ensures that we reach all the small itsy bitsy players everywhere. And in order to kind of incentivize the point of sales players to agree to doing this, we would engage them in a revenue sharing model to make sure that it would be mutually beneficial for them and for us. And we've already confirmed this strategy with 10 global points of sales players, and together they would give us access to 93,000 customers worldwide, and all of them have said that they would be really interested in joining us.
Wow, great progress. My second question would be if you could explain a bit more on how you differ from other food tech companies and forecasting companies.
Yeah. So most of the existing food waste companies out there are end-of-pipe solutions, tackling waste when they've already been happening. So our solution, we want to kind of like prevent that from early on. And also we see that most of the existing forecasting software out there are designed for CFOs and also for people who are primarily hired to do the job. But we see that the food businesses, they are actually people who are on the ground. So the solution needs to be very user-friendly and also non-time consuming at all. And we'd like to think Savvy as President Obama's daily brief. So, you know, we're kind of like empowering food businesses so that they can, you know, avoid the unnecessary costs.
Makes sense. Thank you so much, team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ocean Oasis is developing a mobile floating desalination plant driven by wave power to deliver fresh water to shore with zero emissions. The company is led by CEO Christine, with years of experience from innovation and business development and a strong track record of getting things done. CTO and inventor Thomas, who's worked for more than 20 years on maritime constructions and hydrodynamics. And Sebastian, who's bringing in extensive experience from international energy markets. These guys are making true impact.
We often take water for granted, but water scarcity due to climate change is increasing, and that could affect us already. This problem will bring more conflicts and wars to the world. We're facing that problem, and we'll be delivering water to shore with zero emissions to avoid both the impact of climate change and reduce the impact for the future. Our team, we're 3 totally different persons, made a small family. It's a good experience to be together with people that think different but are able to compromise and move forward, because what we think together is where we're going.
Working with Christine and Sebastian is fantastic. We share the values and we really have a common feeling of making something important and believing in something that it's now within reach. Ocean Oasis is not a dream anymore, it's something that we can actually see happening.
Our long-term vision, to be ambitious, is to create a world where water scarcity is not an issue. In Ocean Oasis, our vision is a world without water scarcity. We are developing a new and sustainable way of producing fresh water using wave power. The world is running out of fresh water, and it's not possible to cover demand without extensive desalination. That's the process of making fresh water from seawater. Already, more than 300 million people rely on desalinated seawater for their freshwater supply, and this number is expected to triple by 2050. But desalination is an energy-intensive process that relies on either access to a stable electricity grid, CO2-intensive energy sources, or land-intensive options. The carbon footprint of the industry is already almost twice that of Norway. If we are to follow the Paris Agreement, we need to be able to produce fresh water sustainably. And we will do exactly that. Each of our desalination units will save almost 2,000 tons of CO2 emissions annually while providing fresh water to 2,000 households.
Ocean Oasis is a nice example of a blue economy future where we apply our offshore and maritime expertise to new and sustainable use of the oceans. The essential idea is to use wave power directly to drive a desalination process without going via electricity production. This is what makes us competitive already at the pilot stage. I've been working with the Ocean Oasis for more than 10 years and have 2 patents granted on the technology. Our analysis tools have been verified by model testing, and several third-party studies have been carried out to verify the concept feasibility and cost estimates. Ocean Oasis is good for both the local and global environment. It's pretty and discreet, has water intake and brine discharge well offshore, no chemicals on board and no CO2 emissions. Ocean Oasis is floating, can be completed in a yard, then towed and installed quickly at location. And we can install 1 or several units depending on demand. Ocean Oasis is robust, 1 floating body located protectively inside the other. In the survival mode, the bodies are locked together and the Ocean Oasis can ride out a storm without being damaged.
Thank you, Thomas. As water demand increases, so does demand for desalination. Based on UN projections, investment for water infrastructure will triple. Sustainable solutions to cope with this demand are limited. This creates a blue ocean market opportunity where we can supply water to coastal utilities, industrial customers, and aquaculture. We will develop, own, and operate the platforms to sell water. Reliable and stable cash flow from long-term contracts will enable capital-efficient business. Utilizing project finance structure, we will leverage on soft and commercial lending to lower the need for investment. We have an ambitious plan to scale. We will generate significant revenue by 2022 and break even by 2023, expecting 15 million NOK EBIT by 2025. The positive cash flow will fuel our growth.
We're now building and demonstrating our first pilot here in Norway. And we believe that half of the project cost will be covered by soft funding. With our first pilot in the water, we will have removed almost all cost and technical risk, moving forward into a commercial scale pilot with customers. And from there, we're ready to scale. We have a complementary and dedicated core team set up for the company's success. And we've onboarded an experienced technical team. We're extremely proud of our board of directors and our advisory board. Would you like to create true impact on one of the world's most pressing challenges? Join us for a sustainable tomorrow with no water scarcity.
Ocean Oasis, thank you so much for a very solid presentation. I wanted to follow up with a few questions. First one on the wave power. It has proven to be a bit challenging in the past, and I wanted to know how your technology is different.
Okay, I guess the challenges are, there are basically 2 challenges related to wave power in the past. Firstly, durability or survivability. The Ocean Oasis basically comes out of the offshore maritime cluster in Norway. It's designed for durability and survivability. It consists of a disc floating inside a buoy. In survival mode, they're connected together, and the Ocean Oasis behaves like any other floating buoy in the North Sea. The second challenge, and maybe even greater challenge with wave power in the past, has been the economy of electricity production. It's difficult to produce electricity using wave power, which is competitive. So the basic idea of Ocean Oasis is that we're not producing electricity, we're producing water or desalinating water, which is another energy-intensive process. So we're using the energy without going via electricity to produce fresh water, and we can do that at a competitive rate even off the pilot.
That's a very good answer, Thomas, and it makes a lot of sense. It also leads me to the next question, which is why do you think this is the right time to bring your solution to the market?
We've witnessed a rising concern for climate change, and also water scarcity that's increasing in the world. An example is the situation in South Africa in 2018, when they actually approached day zero of access to sufficient fresh water in the country. So we really experience a pull in the market for sustainable ways of freshwater production.
Yep. It's not only a social concern. Governments, corporations, and financial institutions are investing heavily in solutions that both face changing environment, and adaptation and mitigation solutions are very important for that.
Ocean Oasis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is Sondre and Paulius, co-founders of Space, a smart platform that provides the most optimal warehousing solutions for all types of businesses. Paulius has a strong startup experience and a structured approach to business strategy and development, while our hustler Sondre has a background within real estate law, development, and management. Together, these guys get shit done.
We are solving the problem of unutilized warehouse space. Me and my family had this problem for years in a seasonal FMCG business, but we couldn't solve it. So I brought the problem to the program. When I met Sondre, it was really obvious that it's a perfect fit. Sondre has more than 10 years experience in real estate business, has a vast network within the industry. He's a very creative person and he's a hustler. So that makes him really unique. I think I'm a bit more structured, the way I develop ideas, solve problems, and execute.
With Paulius' previous startup experience and my experience from the real estate industry, I think we're very well suited to make this work. And what we have done in a very short amount of time and the people that we have attracted to our team, I think is a pretty solid statement as to where we're going next. We are Space, optimized and sustainable warehouse solutions. The market for storage, warehouse, and logistics space is growing at unprecedented rates. The 10 biggest cities in Europe will need a 20% increase of this type of space each year for the next 5 years. Although demand is at an all-time high, we have identified millions of potential square meters in the European market that remain unused each year. Most of this space is not even offered in today's market. This untapped potential consists of seasonal businesses like agriculture. The potential market value of this type of space alone is close to 1.5 billion euros. Other untapped space examples can be found in real estate development buildings waiting to be demolished or seasonal storage of boats. And these are just a few of the examples. Enabling this type of space will not only create massive streams of new revenue, it will also have an enormous positive impact on the environmental footprint of the warehouse and logistics space industry. So on the one hand, you have a market screaming for more and better supply options, and on the other, you have an enormous potential of unused space not making any revenue. By working with clients and industry experts, we learned that the current market information is extremely fragmented and there is little or no transparency. We have confirmed that the lack of access to updated and structured warehouse market information is preventing the market from functioning as well as it could.
To solve this problem, Space gathers information from multiple data sources, including directly from warehouse suppliers, in order to build a consolidated market database. Once gathered, data is structured and continuously updated. This way, we build a foundation that enables our team to build incredible products, such as our platform,
to fix the market. Space Platform processes 3 data sets: survey data to understand our demand customers' business and their needs, our structured and updated database of the market information, and our historic information. The result is the most optimal warehouse solution that enables suppliers to generate more revenue and demand clients to find exactly what they've been looking for and often save money. What we present today is not just empty words. We prove it by showing our traction. On the supply side, we have more than 30,000 square meters in more than 30 locations. On the demand side, we have 25 signed customers of micromobility, food delivery, e-commerce, and many other companies. Space current sales pipeline consists of 8.5 million kroners in Space Platform potential turnover and close to 600,000 in Space potential revenue. Our current monthly recurring revenue is 5,400 kroners. Here's our team. Sondre is a lawyer by education, a true hustler that has more than 10 years of experience in the real estate development industry. The pain of underutilized warehouse space I have felt personally in my previous FMCG business. Space is my 3rd company and a 2nd startup. Also, we have an incredible team of advisors, industry experts, board members, and investors such as Trond Ribber Knudsen. So if you are an investor or a potential industry partner, and you would like to get to know more about Space business and our team, please contact us.
Thank you for a great pitch, guys. Interesting to learn more about this untapped segment that you're enabling. Could you perhaps elaborate a bit further?
Yeah. So the untapped segment consists of a lot of unutilized warehouse and storage space. And for different reasons, this type of space is just accepted as a sunk cost and not offered in the market today. So by enabling this segment, we will be able to expand the supply side of the warehousing and storage space market, and we will provide owners with additional revenue.
Makes sense. Would be interesting to learn a bit more on how you plan to scale outside of Norway for the coming years.
Sure. So first of all, Norway is a great market for us because the market is tech savvy, as well as we have a vast network of partners in the industry, and that enables us to validate or decline multiple hypotheses related to business model, customer acquisition, product development, and much more. Then regarding scaling, together with our advisors that have enormous experience building international companies, we're developing certain standards and operations that are replicable in multiple markets. So again, for example, which target segments we should focus first, how to get the first 500 suppliers, how to recruit the team and train it, and a lot of similar things. So it's similar to how Antler is expanding its business.
Thank you so much, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Antler Norway focuses on 3 verticals that are particularly ready for disruption: energy, property, and mobility. We are very grateful to be collaborating with our industry partners, as we believe that collaboration in between early-stage startups and industry leaders is key to innovation. Here's a sneak peek on how Antler brings together entrepreneurs and industry leaders.
When working with innovation, it's important for us to find the right people, and our industry hasn't traditionally been very high-paced innovators. Even though we have a lot of competency within our company, we're often focused on the day-to-day business, so we need to partner with people who have a different perspective on innovation and also different experiences that can challenge our existing thinking and also have the capacity and capability to get up to speed a lot faster than we can do day-to-day.
When you have a hypothesis and you come into this one and then you see the industry partner saying, actually, this is a problem that we're having, well, then you know that you're on the right track, and it's just worthwhile to continue pursuing that.
These industry partners have been in their business for so long, they actually have a lot of information. So it actually presents a really big opportunity for startups and industry partners to connect on.
And as a startup, you're probably coming from a more narrow point of view. And being able to sort of look at the totality should bring a really big value to a startup.
So in Antler, we're really trying to optimize the collaboration between industry leaders and entrepreneurs through several different ways of working together. Most importantly, I think the people we work with in Antler, the entrepreneurs, are carefully selected. Very few people get to work with us on trying to solve great ideas. What we're doing in these industry sprints, as we call them, is that we're getting all of them together and we work with the industry partner on walking through some of the problems and some of the opportunities in that industry. This results in many different ideas. Some of them will end up becoming longer-term collaborations between the entrepreneurs and the industry partner. And in some cases, it will serve as very good inspiration and feedback to the industry partner on what they can do differently. I think that this type of structured, safe format to test and work on ideas with exceptionally talented and driven people is a very good value proposition to industry partners.
I was truly impressed by the teams today, how quickly they got up to speed on the industry and the problem statements, how they were very commercially focused, and also how they, within 24 hours, managed to move from idea to a concept that we can actually take forward and build on for something that would be tangible for our business and our industry.
We have already started to pilot, we need to try, we need to fail fast, we need to be able to scale. Today was just a reinforcement of how important that is, how much faster everything goes, and I think we're off to an excellent start with all the teams here. And I'm just curious to see where this will take us.
In Antler, we're all about collaboration between Antler, the entrepreneurs, and the industry partners. We are a truly global platform with very strong local footprints, and we're very passionate about helping our industry partners scale their ideas globally. By pulling on the 400 plus advisors we have globally, the presence we have with offices across 5 continents, and some exceptional investor and partner relationships across the world, we believe we are in a great position connecting these 2 ecosystems and bring about positive change across the world.
Our next company, Mickey, is revolutionizing legal support for small businesses. The team is a perfect combination of experience and talent. Ole Anders has 18 years of experience founding 2 B2B companies with a combined annual revenue of $27 million USD. Alfonso is the former tech lead at Rocket Internet and CTO of 2 previous startups. Abi is a proven talent as a product and growth expert with a data science background from Oxford University.
We're solving the issue of cost-effective and hassle-free legal support for small businesses.
For small businesses, it's really hard to handle all the legal stuff because they have limited resources, which is time, budgets, and expertise. I had this problem myself when I was CEO of my previous startup, and it was really difficult to understand your responsibilities at all times. I was looking for talent and X factor, and preferably someone with international experience. I was lucky to meet Abi.
I wanted to work with someone who has proven business talent, who's started a company from scratch, grown it over the last 10, 15 years into such a big company, and that was all in Ole. He has a lot of wisdom and experience, and he's a great leader. We want to make legal support cost-effective and hassle-free for all the new businesses that are growing. We've had some fantastic feedback from our early pilot customers. We're really excited to scale our product globally. We just are excited to continue working with our customers very closely. Hello everyone, we are Mercuri and we are creating a better way for SMBs to handle their legal services. The need for legal services for millions of small and medium-sized businesses is growing world over. For the CFO, legal is a necessary burden. Cost is the #1 barrier, and this is due to the billable pricing model that lawyers use. It does not suit SMBs, and it is unpredictable, and it makes it hard to budget for. It discourages more than 50% of all SMBs to seek legal support when needed. This causes huge losses of $15 billion in the UK and Norway alone.
As a CFO of an SMB, you need to budget for 10 to 30 legal tasks with your lawyer each year. The cost per task ranges from 2 to 55,000 NOK. A common example could be a document review based on an option program or agreement. Let us break down the legal tasks and spend for a year. If we look at the next 12 months, businesses are only clear on the legal task they need to complete next month. With Mercuri, you can predict the tasks you need for the year, giving you confidence on the next steps. From month to month, you don't know how much your legal expenses will be. This causes the business to avoid using a lawyer even when needed. With Mercuri, you can predict the expenses month by month. You can budget for tasks, reducing risk in the long term.
Mercuri provides a fixed cost pricing model and task management for legal services. Let's get into detail on how this works. With Mercuri, businesses pay for their lawyers in fixed monthly payments. We take over the responsibility of invoicing. We use the invoice data to predict your future legal spend and the tasks you need to complete. We will continue to add more functionality to make this 100% predictable. We use machine learning algorithms and data encryption techniques. This creates an advanced and secure platform.
We are targeting CFOs of Norwegian SMBs. We offer them a fixed fee subscription. We have partnerships with enterprise hubs and law firms. This provides us volumes of SMBs and the credibility we need as a startup. As we grow, we understand a business's legal needs and spending patterns over time and at scale. With the corona pandemic, the value we add is more significant than ever. We make using legal services a lot easier for SMBs. By knowing the cost and the plan, we reduce business risk. We have achieved a lot in 3 months. We have pilot customers and strong relationships with corporate partners. We have built a first version of product and released it to CFOs. We have over 2.6 million NOK in funding. This is from Antler, Innovation Norway, and Birger Nergård, the founder of Verde Capital.
I'm very proud of our core team. Ole Anish is an experienced CEO. His previous company continues to make 250 million NOK in annual revenue. I was the head of growth in a tech startup. I have studied pure science and artificial intelligence from Southampton and Oxford University. Alfonso is a 2-time startup founder. He has worked at Rocket Internet and has raised millions of dollars in funding. Our core team can design, build, and sell. This will reduce the risk for our early stage investors. So please could you open your phone camera, even on YouTube, and point it to this code. This will allow you to view Ole Anish's contact details. We are raising funding now, so please do get in touch. We look forward to getting to know you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you guys for a super pitch. So I wanted to ask you a few questions. So first of all, why did you decide to tackle legal support for small businesses?
I've had this problem myself. I was the CEO of a startup with 30 employees, and it was really difficult to understand your legal responsibilities and manage all your obligations. I wish I had this hotline for legal support.
And business management tools have revolutionized IT support, HR, and accounting. And we feel legal support is the next natural step. Just in Norway alone, small businesses have had to suffer from 13 billion NOK in fines per year. It's a tough challenge, but we really think it's worth fighting for.
That's very interesting. But when you say legal, many think that legal is very country specific. So how do you plan on building a scalable solution?
That's a great question. So for us, we focus on the communication between the two parties, not the content itself. Specifically, we look at key problems related to managing expectation, the cost of the service, and prioritizing key problems for the business.
Good answer. And today there is the two of you here. So how do you plan on building a stellar team in the time going forward?
So our team is built on the combination of experience and talent, and we try to implement the best bits from the Norwegian and the British culture. And we are growing the team from our networks, and we have a great network with Oxford University, Antler, Startup Lab, and Rocket Internet.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Passbook was founded to let you regain control over your digital identity by being the safest password manager on Earth. The Passbook team is a perfect blend of tech savviness and business expertise. Technologist Andre has spent the past 3 years developing the patent-pending Lightstream technology that's powering Passbook, while Lynn has a solid background from consultancy and project management.
We're solving the problem with managing password in a secure way. There are a lot of cases out there where people get hacked, and you don't really think you're being hacked before it actually happens. After Andre has explained me his passion about this technology and the use case of Passbook and how it can benefit users globally, I was really kind of stoked to be able to join him. Andre is really tech savvy, has worked for several years with the technology, and also knows a lot about security and password manager market. The quality I prefer the most with Andre is the fact that he's extremely genuine and a very hardworking individual that really loves what he does. What we're really excited about right now is our beta launch, and to actually be able to test with real users. And we're also in the very beginning of a patent process that we're looking forward to.
When we started to build Passbook, we wanted to build a more sustainable solution. A solution that would stand the test of time. Because the problem with today's solutions is that if you get hacked just once, everything leaks. And so this was the core problem that we would have to solve. And so we needed to create a barrier between the passwords that you're using in a moment and the passwords that you're not actively using. So what we did was we invented a new way to communicate between devices, where data only travels in one direction. This ensures that the place your passwords are coming from remains secure, and we call this invention Lightstream. So this is Passbook. It's the first ever truly secure password manager. To learn more about Lightstream and Passbook, please visit passbook.co.
We would love to hear a bit more about your technological uniqueness.
Yes, so Passbook has a total different angle than all the other competitors because they store all your passwords in the cloud, whereas Passbook we want you to be in charge of the storage of your own passwords. So you can actually store it locally on your phone and use your phone as a mobile authenticator when you're logging into your Mac and other devices. And the live stream technology makes that possible.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, Passbook is providing a solution that's offline, decentralized, versus the competitors that would typically provide a solution that's centralized and stored in the cloud.
Yeah, that's totally right. And by doing the storage of password in this way, and when millions of people are actually using Passbook instead of the competitors' solutions, then it's possible to kind of decentralize and lower the risk for a potential hack, where right now 60 million passwords can actually leak.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for watching. We hope you were inspired by those amazing startups. You will find all details and contact information via this link. And if you feel it's the right time for you to build your own company, remember that applications are now open for our program starting in January. We'd like also to say a big thank you to WeWork for letting us record in an amazing office. And of course, thanks to everyone that makes Antler Norway an amazing place to build your company. Thanks again, and have an amazing day.